Yeah, welcome to the Flaming Crescent Society podcast, where we promote the upliftment of the black man and woman. And let me start off by saying Assalamu alaikum, because we're a Muslim organization. And we also keeping a memory of Malcolm X, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz alive too. That's what we stand for. But we finna get on talk about what's going on in society right now, particularly in the city of Chicago, where Donald Trump think it's okay to send some federal agents in the city of Chicago to try to curtail the violence. What's going on in Chicago? And we got three brothers on there. They from the city of Chicago. I'm not. So what y'all brothers feel about that? How y'all feel about that right there? Any one of y'all can speak. Any one of y'all can go first.
Well, I'll start off. First off, I think that
introduces.
Yes, my name is Minister Ben Willis, and I'm the national representative of the Flaming Crescent Society. And I'm also a mentor at North Lawndale High School. In fact, before I even start out, I want to just give kudos to my father, Benjamin Willis. He was a good example of what a man supposed to be. He's an example for me. And also my grandfather, Edward Allen, who took care of his family, fed and protected them. So I had two good role models as far as what a man's supposed to be. And my grandmothers, Lily Allen and Willabelle Belcher, who with their spirituality and their belief in God, that is what I picked up on and I learned from them. My great-grandmother, Betty Seals, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. She faced slavery, looked slavery right into the eye and fought against it. And my beloved mother, I'd like to thank her. She's my advisor and my counsel. So without them, people in my life, I stand on their shoulders, and this is what you see exemplified. And I want to be proud. I'm proud to carry on their legacy. My mom is still here, but the other ones have departed and went on. So I stand on their shoulders, and that's what I want to give honor. So wherever I go, I carry them. Now, as far as the violence in the city of Chicago, people dance around, they call it gun violence. That's all they talk about. I've been saying it's gang violence for many, 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 many years. No one seems to address that. Everybody seems to dance around what's actually going on. The gangs are the ones that are committing the violence in the city of Chicago. At least 98% of the shooting and killings in Chicago is from gangs. You got all these different police chiefs that come here in the city, and all they talk about is the gun violence. You have all these mayors come in here in the city talk about the gun violence. It is the gang violence that is happening. Now they bring in the troops, or they bring in the feds in here. This is the first time that they brought the feds here in the city of Chicago. They did it during the Daley regime, I think also in the Emanuel regime. So now, and I spoke with Brother Salim. I talked to him a few days ago, about the military coming into the city of Chicago. And at one time, I kind of welcomed it, but then, Salim, you brought light in on what could happen if the military got here. So it made me take a pause. I had to think about that. Talk about that, Salim, because you was in the military. What could happen?
Well, this is Brother Salim Abdul Khalid. By the way, I'm the founder of the Flaming Crescent Society, which was started in 1992 in honor of Brother Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, known to us popularly by the name of Malcolm X. We strive to keep his name and his memory alive. And each year, around February, we put on an annual tribute to Malcolm X. Why do we use Brother Malcolm X as a symbol of the Flaming Crescent Society? Because we demonstrate through his character and his behavior and his history that our youth don't have to settle for a life of crime, that they can flip it and change their lives around into something positive. So we use Brother Malcolm as an example of that, and we strive to also duplicate and imitate the character of Brother Malcolm. Let me also say this: without education and information, there can be no inspiration or motivation. We must understand that the written word is more powerful than a loaded gun. And we also, listeners in the audience, we say to you that we must remember all of the great ancestors, the great heroes and sheroes, warriors and warriorettes, soldiers and soldierettes who came to wake us up and shake us up and get us on the right path. With all of that said, camelbacking on what Brother Ben just said, yes, I am concerned, greatly concerned about the black on black, or so-called black on black violence and destruction that's going on in our community. And there is a need for something drastically to be done about it. We must understand the social and economic factors that contribute to the state of being in the black community. But we also must understand that we have certain powers that be that don't really care about what's happening in the black community. There's been reports that the police and sometimes the government has been involved in bringing drugs and guns into the black community. And my fear is that if they, in a way, it's like asking the same people that caused the problem in order to bring the solution.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? If federal truth would be brought into the black ghettos, there's some dangers in that, Minister Ben.
Yes, sir.
Due to the fact that I know for a fact, having been ex-military myself, that the military, as well as the police department, is filled up with a lot of racist whites who joined the police and the military with the specific intent of doing harm to people of color. So if they are brought into the black community, we have to ask ourselves the question, are we going to be any safer than what we was before, all the gang violence was going on?
So what can we do? What can we do then as black men? What can we do as black men to stop the violence? What would be any of our solutions to stop the violence in our community? Patrol our own. What can we do?
Mr. Dave, you want to speak on that real quick?
Absolutely. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm a brother David Muhammad. I'm a proud member of the Flaming Crescent Society, as well as the founder and director for the Kufi Club of Chicago, which is an African cultural youth center located in the Roseland community on the south side of Chicago. My approach to dealing with, violence in the black male community, let's first of all, get to the root of it, okay? When we look at, most of the violence that's going on in the black community, there's a gender aspect to it, right? Most of these incidents of violence are being perpetrated by males, right or wrong.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now there's a gender component to it, but now there's also a racial component to it. Okay, so when we look in the black community, we realize, okay, most of this violence being perpetrated by males, but not just male, by black males, right? And then we get into the age factor. Most of this is being, done, all these shootings and killings is going on by young brothers like, 18, 19, 20, 20. We talking about adolescent black males. Adolescent black males are the main perpetrators of violence in our community. But why? Are adolescent black males shooting and killing each other like dogs in the street? Why? Well, one of the main reasons is that many of these young men, they have a completely misconstrued idea on what it is to be a man.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
They attribute, their capacity, to commit violence, to J down on somebody, wherever the case may be, that's what they equate with being a man. They don't equate intelligence, responsibility with being a man. You understand? When we look at, the rap videos, they saying, I'm the man, what they got a Glock. I'm the man and got a Glock in their hand. You understand? So that's why I started the Kufi Club. Because as also a school teacher for the Chicago public school system, I realized the need for our young black boys and our young black girls to have some type of role model, to show and guide them on what it is on real black manhood and womanhood. So the youth.
Yeah.
So what do you do though? But the thing is what is the solution? What is the solution of that?
Teach the babies.
And by the way, I'm Minister Tyrone. I mentioned my name. I'm being the host of this right now, and I'm a proud member of the Flaming Crescent. But and for y'all older listeners, J Down, what my man Minister Dave said, that's when you come at somebody, you coming to him. That's what J Down means. Just in case y'all didn't, this little street slang. But it started in the household a lot of times. With these youngsters, if they ain't got proper guidance, then they gonna let the streets take care of them, and the streets don't got no love for nobody. They eat them up, spit them out, and like the media and stuff like you were talking about, what they hear on the radio, what they see on TV, they associate that with being manhood if they don't have a man in the household or any type of male role model to really show them what a man is. So that's what they like what you said. So, and but a solution is what Brother David doing. He started the Kufi Club for the youngsters.
But but children are still getting slaughtered in the streets. So what is the Kufi Club doing to stop the slaughter in the streets?
Now on that part, I believe you need to have like neighborhood, not vigilantes, but people from the neighborhood to patrol the neighborhood. If because in my opinion, I believe there's a lot of people in the neighborhood because it isn't a small area of Chicago where a lot of this shooting and stuff going on.
Sure.
And I know they got to know who's doing this. In one particular case, because I do in another particular case, I don't believe it's just young black males committing all these shootings.
But brother Tyrone, I'm gonna have to digress from some of this. Because the majority of people that's doing it, they're black people.
Yeah.
Okay. And another thing that I want to get out of here, this narrative that is put out here that black people in the community know who's doing it, and I think that is an insult to black people because that's saying that we are harboring criminals. See, when they say, "Well, y'all know who do it," put them out there. Yeah. And I think that is a discord to common black people that they're harboring in that, and that the police officers and the police force need to do police work to solve that. Because if you do that, last year there was a young lady who came to court and they wanted to testify against a shooting and killing of her cousin, and she was going to testify and she got knocked off right there. It's on 65th and Damon.
The police,
and that's what the problem is a distrust. You know what I'm saying? See, that's why what you just said. That's the problem right there.
Yeah,
the distrust with the police. If y'all really here to protect and serve, do that. But we look at y'all as an enemy because of how y'all treat us. And that's why you can't get the proper cooperation. You know.
In my opinion, I don't believe that the police really have a sincere desire. This is just me. I don't believe that most police don't have a real sincere desire to solve the criminal activity and the crimes and the violence that's going on in the black community.
Right.
They're only concerned about solving crimes when a white person is killed by a black person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let me say this here on how we can address the situation in our community. It's up to black men to take more responsibility for what's going on in the community. We have to be mentors. We have to stand up. We are responsible for, Malcolm said in his book, By Any Means Necessary, that it is the black man's duty to stand up and protect the women and children in his community. We have to face the fact that the police are not here to serve and protect the black community, no matter what it says on the side of their automobile about serving and protecting.
Right.
Police originated during slavery, and their job was to catch slaves, to keep slaves in check. So I don't think that we can ever totally depend on them. Another thing that we have to do, we have to sit down as black men, we have to sit down with some of these young men. Sit down with some of these young boys as they're coming up and teach them. Tyrone, you mentioned something earlier about people having the wrong concept of manhood.
Right.
This is real important, because you have black men that actually think that being more of a man is having a gun in their hand.
Right.
When we look at the picture of Brother Malcolm, in the famous photo with him pointing at his cranium, Malcolm is telling us the most lethal weapon that the black man has is his mind. So we have to sit down and re-educate our youth, and this is something that a lot of black men are not doing. We're afraid of the youth in the community. I'm gonna just share this real quick. I'm gonna let somebody else jump in. A couple of weeks ago, I had a young man from the neighborhood can't come by my house. He was going through the neighborhood asking anybody if they had any work to do around the house. He's a young brother from the street. You know, I think he was formerly involved in or may still be involved in gang activity. And he did work, he did real good work for me. I asked him to clean out my garage. After he finished, I paid him, and I sat the young brother down for about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and I began to ask him questions. I said, young brother, give me the definition of a man. All he could do was scratch his head.
Right.
Because nobody had ever sat him down to teach him what real manhood was. Here's a young brother, 21 years of age, got a couple of babies already. He's jobless, et cetera, et cetera. So, what do you think the average young black male in that position is going to end up doing if he can't get a regular income? He's going to be led to a life of crime. And this is one of the reasons why we in the Flaming Crescent Society, we lift up the image of Brother Malcolm to demonstrate what real manhood is. Again, somebody came to me when I was 19 years of age and sat me down in the same way I sat that young brother down. Until black men begin to stand up in the community, stop fearing the youth, get out there in the street, set up programs, set up businesses so that we can put our people to work, these young brothers to work, put some money in their pocket where they won't be directed, toward the drug dealers and other type forms of criminal activity. Then we have nobody to blame but ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do a lot of you on that too for bringing that young brother and sitting him down and really explaining to him what manhood is. Because if you don't have nobody to teach you, you ain't going to learn. You're going to learn off like your own experience or in the streets or whatever, and you could be misled on that end right there, But anybody, go ahead.
Yeah, I got something else to say. My name is Minister Ben Willis, and this is the Flaming Crescent Society. And the Flaming Crescent Society, also, we uplift our people and humanity. And we want people who have the same desire and actions that we have to come join us. Yeah. Come join the Flaming Crescent Society. If you're a young man, if you're a young lady, if you're an older man or older lady, it doesn't make any difference what political party you are, your race, your gender, your religion. If you are about what we are about, we open arms for you to come. Please come, and we can show you and can help you. You can reach me at area code 872-731-9681. That's area code 872-731-9681. That's Minister Ben Willis. And Brother Salim, give them your phone number so they can get in contact with us because we want to help. Right. We want to assist. Exactly. We want to make a difference in the city. We are tired of our babies being killed out here, man.
That's right, man.
It is an insult for that to happen.
Let me camel back on what Minister Ben just said. And first of all, let me give my number for anyone that would like to contact the Flaming Crescent Society. That is 872-800-7355. We can also be contacted through email at colic7@sbcglobal.net. That is KHALIQ, the number 7 at sbcglobal.net. We members of the Flaming Crescent Society are black men who really sincerely care about the condition of our community. Stop saying that there are black men who don't care. We are brothers who have gotten out in the street. We are brothers that have had monthly meetings. We had radio shows. We've had many invitations, given many invitations to the public to come and assist us in what we are doing. The workers are, the need is many, but the workers are few. We have to, each and every one of us, we must take it upon ourselves to put forth an effort. There's a responsibility on each one of us as black men in particular. I'm not leaving women out of this. But as black men, we must take the lead in doing what is necessary in order to lead our community forth down a better pathway.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
yep. Now we finna change subjects real quick. What y'all think about this Nick Cannon thing when he did the interview with Professor Griff, and he really went in on these Jews. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got Minister James coming up in here real quick.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Minister
Walaikum
James. Sit
salam,
down.
Mr. James.
You guys look good, man. You guys look good.
Right
Good
on.
to see you, brother.
Flattery
Yeah.
will get you everything.
Yeah, we just finished talking about the troops coming to Chicago, but we finna speak upon this Nick Cannon thing, like how the Jews trying to silence the brother,
Okay.
fired him from Viacom because some of the things they quote said was anti-Semitic or whatever, But how y'all feel about them trying to? Did y'all hear the so-called apology he gave? I kind of felt like I understand why he made the apology. I think he kind of did it too much, but I understand,
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna give you a little background on Nick Cannon real quick. Nick Cannon is a Nickelodeon guy. Nick Cannon is what they call a square, and I'm gonna say it's in a good light, a goofy, but in a good light,
Right,
not in a derogatory term. He's a square and he's a goofy, coming out of Nickelodeon. Okay, that's what that's what Nick Cannon is.
Right.
All of a sudden, he read a couple of books, Carter G. Woodson, Dr. Cress Welsing, and he was hanging under Riza Islam, who's out of the Nation of Islam. So he got a little bit of that. Then he put on a turban. And then he became very woke, so to speak. Now, look at the core of what he is. He's a square and he's a goofy. I don't want to say it, but it's not derogatory. Okay. He said what he read, and he got fired up about that.
Right.
Now, when you say something like that, when you say things like that, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to get pushback from that. You're not prepared for that. That's like a person shadow boxing. He goes into the gym and he's hitting the heavy bag, and now they throw him in the ring and he get punched. He don't know how to defend himself against that. It looks good dancing. You're a boxer. You know how it is. If you go in there and start dancing around and you get in the ring and get hit, you don't know how to recover from that. You start begging. Mm-hmm. See, they hit Nick Cannon, they gave him a gut shot. He said, oh. He stopped apologizing. Then what he do? What did he do behind that? This dude comes up here and he says, the black community turned their back on me. Dude, we ain't even got nothing to do with you out here in Hollywood talking that stuff. You didn't know what you was talking about. You was in a fight that you had nothing or no defense for. Then you go down again and say, well, y'all can have the planet, I'm leaving the earth. See, that's weak. That's spineless. That's who you are. You are a soft, you a nerd. You have nothing to do with that. You don't know how to defend that. Any one of us, even if someone came to me what he said, I would deal with any of them about that because it's truth. But he don't know how to defend it. Nick, what you need to do, because I didn't know, the biggest insult to me was, you don't own your rights to nothing. And I thought you owned Wild 'N Out, but you don't.
Yeah.
You own nothing, man.
He did claim he was a boss, and we found out he's not really a boss like he playing
exactly.
to be.
Let's let Mr. James get up in the mix.
My thing is about Nick Cannon, the brother Nick Cannon.
Introduce yourself, brother.
Oh, how you doing, everybody? How you doing, family, brothers and sisters? My name is Mr. James Willis. I'm with the Flame Crescent Society. I just joined, and I'm so happy to be here with these brothers because they have a lot going on, and they have a message that we need to get out to the people, to the community, that's going to strengthen us because there's a lot that's going on, people, and we can't be silent anymore.
That's right.
We just cannot be silent. And our people are asleep, and we must wake them up, okay? We have to wake them up because the time is now. The time is right now. And I think this podium here that we have here is going to be the threshold to getting the word out there to the people. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Flaming Crescent Society is coming, and we're going to bring the message to everyone. And speaking on the brother Nick Cannon, my thing is, do you think he's trying to make a name for himself in another type of light? Mm-hmm. Right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, right.
David?
Only thing I would say about that is, just kind of going off of what our brother Ben said. He mentioned the word defense. The fact of the matter is that business is warfare. When you look at the example of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you understand, he not only, establishes, businesses all across the nation, but he also built an army to protect his businesses. We have to do the same. We as Muslims. I mean, imagine we starting a business. You understand me? And then we have some entities, trying to, take over or do whatever the case may be, undermine our business. Are we going to allow that to happen?
No, sir.
Absolutely.
Let me get in here on this next situation. The first thing that I would like to say, I want to make clear that we as Muslims, we're not anti-Semitic. In fact, going to the origin of the term Semitic, the original Semites were dark-skinned people.
Yeah.
Of the
I'm
Middle
glad you're
East.
speaking upon that, Salim, because
Yeah.
that's a big confusion right there. So clear that up.
Yeah, let me clear this up. Again, the original Semites were dark-skinned people of the Middle East and Africa.
Yeah.
When Nick said that black people were the original Jews, this has been acknowledged by historians and researchers.
Sure.
That the original Hebrews were black people. This is documented in the book Sex and Race by J.A. Rogers and several other books that he wrote. There's another book from Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph Windsor. See, I like to cite documented evidence of anything I'm saying. Arthur Kessler, a white Ashkenazim Jew, wrote a book called The 13th Tribe, in which he proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the white Jews of today originated in Europe before they came down and took over Israel and Palestine. So it is not anti-Semitic for Nick Cannon to say that the original Jews were black people. Now, let me also say this right here. As Muslims, we are not to be against Jews because they are Jews, because the Holy Quran plainly says that there are good Jews and there are a few unrighteous Jews, okay? So we don't hate anyone because of their ethnicity or their religion. I have to clear this up. You see, as a Muslim, I'm not against Jews because there have been many Jews throughout history. No, I can name Noam Chomsky, who's always spoken out against injustice in the society. Norman Finkelstein. There's Jews like the Neturei Karta, who are against the oppression of the Palestinian people. I don't hate Jews because they're Jews. I dislike anyone when they're unjust. So as far as what Nick Cannon said that could justifiably be proven by history, I don't think that he should have ever apologized for it. But what we need to understand also about Nick Cannon is that Nick Cannon is just not built that way.
Right.
He is not built that
Right.
way, and we should not expect,
Right.
that Nick Cannon would stand up and be strong like a Khalid Muhammad or Malcolm X or somebody like that. Nick Cannon is still a part of the, capitalistic system.
Right.
He does not have the spiritual fortitude or conscious courage in order to weather the storm. Yeah, that's my comment on this Nick Cannon situation.
Yeah, but like you said, them Jews or the Zionists in particular, they control the Hollywood, the media, what we hear on the radios and what we see on the TV a lot, and they want to hold on to that where they could conduct how the imagery of the black man is going to be put out.
Well, it's some.
Yeah,
It's some. It's not all.
That's what I'm saying. The Zionists.
It's not all of
Right.
this. See, we don't want to be guilty. We don't want to be guilty of indicting, a whole group of or race of people in the same way we wouldn't want anyone to do that to us as black people. You understand? But we have to face the fact that historically there have been, people of all ethnic groups, Jews included, that have exploited and manipulated people.
Right.
We're not talking about the ones that are right. The Quran, our holy book, says that there's some good ones amongst them.
Yes, it is.
See, so we always have to make that distinction.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to another little topic about these protests that's going on over police brutality. It's it really started off with the murder, lynching, what a lot of people say, which I believe it is, George Floyd up in Minnesota. What got a lot of protests going on all around the country and the world, that world too, So let's speak on like what the protests is.
Well, see, something like that I want to speak on because my thing is we're protesting, okay? The thing is, what are we protesting against? We have to make sure, we have to understand what the narrative is, again, because we're out there doing stuff, we're protesting, but what are we saying, okay? What do we mean? Now, we say our lives matter, but whose lives is mattering? Who are we speaking about? You go, black people or certain other types of ethnic groups out here? Because there's too many messages that's going on, and a lot of ordinary people are getting confused, see? And they're getting very confused. So their thing is...
What do you think is the confusion, Mr. James?
Well, the confusion is, it's like this. You go, okay, Black Lives Matter. But then there's other groups coming in and saying they matter and they're connecting with Black lives. But then you see only black people, the ones being hurt.
Well, this is the thing. And this is just my opinion coming from my stand. And I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get totally what you're saying. Well, Trayvon Martin went to the store and he got killed by being black.
Right.
Tamir Rice was in the playground. He got killed by being black. Them elders in the church, they got killed by dialing roof, praying while being black. So if you can't go to the store while being black, you can't play while being black, you can't even pray while being black, then you're supposed to let everybody know, the judges, police, and everybody else know that black lives do matter. Now, Colin Kaepernick, he took a knee in reference to black men and women getting killed unarmed by police officers. And they said it was the flag. You see, the narrative got changed. Just like this thing about Black Lives Matter, it got changed. The narrative has gotten changed. But this is one thing that gets me. And this is how I'll stop it. I'm going to tell you, this is how all of that stuff, the protesting stop. Because I've never seen any protest. I ain't seen any of it work. For me, it says peaceful protest. I don't get that. If you put a foot in somebody's ass and they say, you can be mad, but peacefully protest. Now, I want to be an obedient child. I always wanted to be that. My mama and daddy always told me, they say, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. So by me wanting to be an obedient son, if somebody hit me, I'm going to try to get with the fat part of their ass and stomp them out. I'm just being an obedient son. So if that goes against the laws of creation, creation is made to protect itself. If someone get ready to hit you in the head with a bat, your arm will automatically go up to protect itself. If I throw something at you, at your face, your eyelids are going to close to protect the eyeball. That's just nature. You don't walk around and just get whooped on out here and say, well, let's peacefully protest. You stomp that ass if somebody do something to you.
Right.
You do that, that'll get up off of you.
Right.
Period. They raided everything and tore everything up. Okay. Tear up them. They say, well, here we got some We got some buck dancing in our community. They want to tap dance and everything else. Y'all just tearing up everything in our community. Y'all tearing the stores up. Y'all tearing up your own stuff. Tear that shit down.
Yeah.
Because of inferior food, if people come in your community and give you inferior anything, tear it down, but build your own.
Yeah.
You know what, man? Let me say this behind what you just said.
He came with it, didn't he?
I agree. I agree. You know, I have a problem with people. Two things. When people come with this, you tearing up your own community, and also when people come at us, you know, whenever a black is killed by a white racist cop, brutal cop, and people riot or tear things up, people, first thing they say is, well, how come nobody riot when black people kill each other?
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead. Speak on it.
Let me say this here to our viewing and listening audience. White folks been killing black people much longer than black people been killing each other.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
sir.
where we
Yes,
learned
sir.
to do it from.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Tyrone. The guns and the drugs that create the violence in the black community is put in by white people. White people manufacture the drugs and the guns that we mess around with. Okay.
That's right.
So you know, if you're watching television, if you want to watch television. Let me ask everybody this question: is it necessary for you to get up off your sofa in order to turn the television on, or is there another method in which you turn the television?
It's a remote control. They got most people. So you don't. Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting at.
Right.
See, what's happening in the black community? We see self-hate and violence that's being perpetrated on our people by remote control. White people don't have to come in the community.
That's right.
In order to actually participate in it, they can sit off and laugh
Right.
because they're the ones, by putting the drugs and the guns in the community and creating an economic climate where black people are forced to commit criminal activity in order to survive. They are doing things by remote control.
Good teaching.
Do you understand what I'm saying? When it comes time to black people tearing up our so-called own community, tell me what do we control in the black community? Because last I looked, it is the Koreans, it's the whites, it's the Chinese, and everybody else that control the economic climate in the black community. Whilst we cannot go in the Mexican community and set up shop, we cannot go in the Jewish community or the Italian community to open up jobs. So what are you talking about when you say that we're tearing up stores and businesses that belong to us? Furthermore, the people that run these stores treat black people like dogs.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
With disrespect and abusing our women, talking to us in any kind of way. So when these riots and the destruction happen, you got black people really, what they're doing in so many words is taking out their anger and their frustration on how they have been dogged around by these exploiters and parasites that invade our community.
Right. I go on to the definition of what Dr. Clark Anderson said about black people. We don't have neighborhoods because if you got a neighborhood, you control what everything goes. You know, I mean, not neighborhoods, but communities. We got neighborhoods. That's what we got, neighborhoods. A neighborhood is a place that's where you just live at.
Right.
A community, you got some type of political and economic control of what goes on up in there.
right.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
and until we and we once had that at one point in time.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, Black Wall Street,
sir.
Wilmington, Rosewood, and those places like that, many of them. But, you know, once America did what they did to our own people, which is us, you know, I guess a lot of black people was kind of like reluctant to even start to do stuff like
Right.
that because they seen what they did, what happened, you know, out of jealousy, in my opinion. That's, you know. But I think we're running out of time, so we're gonna have to wrap things up. You know what I'm saying? It's hey man, you know when you talking that realness, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Time goes fast. You know, but you know we gonna
But we're gonna be doing this consistently.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing this consistently.
This the first podcast, you know what I'm saying? This is gonna be a monthly thing. The Flaming Crescent, y'all, hey, we finna be on the scene, Jack. Y'all better get ready to hear about the Flaming Crescent Society, because we here to stay.
And if you want to join us, again, that's 872-731-9681. Minister Ben Willis and Brother Salim, give the number.
Or Brother Salim at 872-800-7355.
Brother Day, any of y'all got like anything that's going on in the future, something that y'all doing, any events? I know you can't really do nothing with this coronavirus. That's another thing we should have been speaking on too, because this thing got us, man, sort of handcuffed on what we can really do. You know,
a little bit frustrated. Let me just say this here: the Flaming Crescent Society have been involved in having monthly meetings on the third Saturday of every month, located at Tulip Park, right off of King Drive and 83rd Street. I believe the address was 503 West East 83rd Street, if I'm not correct.
No, 91st Street.
Yeah, 93rd Street, right? Or 91st Street?
91st Street.
Oh, okay, right. We're in the process of just as soon as the doors open up, starting back our monthly meeting. The public will be welcome to come out. We normally have the meetings at 2:00 on Saturdays. That's the third Saturday of every month.
Yeah, and before we leave, should we, Salim, let them know what the organization, the Flaming Crescent Society, is all about, you know?
Good question, Minister Tyrone. This is really important in understanding what direction that we're trying to go. First of all, let me say that we have a newsletter called the Flaming Crescent Society that was started in honor of Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz brother Malcolm X. Malcolm said in the book, By Any Means Necessary, that if he had an opportunity to start another publication, he would name it the Flaming Crescent because he wanted to set the world on fire with truth. So we started the Flaming Crescent some years back, and I just briefly want to cite some of the aims and objectives, you know, as we get ready to close the program out. Number one, we stand for the promotion of Islam. But let me say this here. You don't have to be a Muslim in order to participate or join in the activities or the agenda of the Flaming Crescent Society. We as Muslims want to join in with you, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Hebrew Israelite, a black nationalist, even if you're an atheist, if you're interested in uplifting the community and pushing us forward with progress and positivity and peace in the community, we welcome your input and your actions. Okay, number two, we stand for peace and nonviolence in the black community. We believe that we should be peacemakers, bringing peace in the community and stopping all the violence that's going on. Number three, we stand for foreign business economic reciprocity, meaning that those businesses that exist in the black community, whether they are black or they are foreigners, that they must give something back to the community from which they take so much. Number four, we stand for political education and voter registration. Malcolm said register to vote, but only vote for those candidates that have the best interest of the black community at heart. We are tired of our community being manipulated and exploited by these do-nothing politicians.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Number five, ending racism. We believe that we are duty bound and have a great obligation to stand up against racism and white supremacy. We are not against any white people because they're white. We're against them when they are not right.
Right.
Okay?
Like I said.
So we believe in eliminating images and anything that contribute toward white supremacy and black inferiority mentality. Number six, we stand for leadership accountability. We believe that all the leaders in the black community must be responsible to the community, and there are no big eyes and little U's. We consult with each other in order to, make forward progress in the black community. We stand for number seven, which is cultural education, believing that we must have a knowledge of our past in order to prepare for the future. And we follow the examples of people like Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and other great leaders who came to wake us up and teach us knowledge of our history and our culture. Number 8, we stand for an end to vices and hazardous food use. We believe that black people are dying of many diseases and illnesses that could be avoided if we would change our diet and take better care of ourselves. We are against drugs, the pork, the cigarette and alcohol industry coming into the black community and wreaking death and destruction in our community. Number 9, we stand for cleanup campaign. The saying goes that cleanliness is next to godliness. We believe that we have a responsibility to ensure that our community is clean and decent. Number 10, community security and crime prevention. We believe, as Malcolm used to say, that it is the duty of the black men in particular to stand up in their community and protect our people from vice and criminal activity. It is on us as black men to stand up and protect the women and children in our community from all this criminal behavior and violence that's taking place. Number 11, we stand for unity among black people. One of the things that Brother Malcolm said is that we must learn to love our own self before we spread love to anyone outside of us. We push for a unity among our own people. We say that we must stop the division, whether we be Baptist, whether we be Methodist, Pan-African, Muslim, this or that. All of the various groups must come together regardless of group affiliation or ideology or religion. You know, we must come together because white people, they could be Christian, Irish, Italian, Jew, Polish, or whatever. It doesn't make a difference. They are united around the fact that they're white supremacists.
Yeah.
You see? So we must come together to lift our people up and unify in peace and unity. Number 12, we stand for land acquisition in the theocratic system, meaning that we believe that we have the right, to live in peace, in a society that is controlled under the laws of the Creator, where we can live in peace and harmony. We also believe that we have a right to self-defense. We do not believe in violating the safety and the peace of anyone else, but we do believe we have the right to defend ourselves against anyone who would try to harm us. And number 13, the last and we feel the most important part of the agenda of the Flaming Crescent Society, we believe that we must uplift our women in the family. There must be a special effort to uplift the morals of the women in the black community, because the women are the first teachers. She is the mother of civilization, and the Holy Quran says that we must respect the wombs that bore us. We must protect our women from vice, which are the roads to rape, physical abuse, venereal disease, and the overall destruction of the black family. We believe that as black men, that we must stand up and protect our women and teach our women and lead our women down the path of truth and righteousness. Those are some of the main objectives and agenda of the Flaming Crescent Society.
Hey, and if that ain't no good thing to make you want to join the Flaming Crescent Society, well, hey, I just don't know what is, because, hey, those 13 things, that's a nation right there. That's what you need to start a good nation with. That's nation building.
Let me ask y'all brothers a question. A lot of these shootings have been shootings at black women. There's a number of black women that got shot and killed. That's right. Where are their husbands? Where are their boyfriends? Where are their fathers? And what can any of us do to stop that? And I mean, now these women had hits on them. It wasn't random. They went out there and aired them out.
Right.
Well, a big story in the news is, the rapper Megan Thee Stallion. She got shot in the foot.
Right. My boyfriend or whatever.
Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez, yeah. Like, well, I don't know what that was about. And
she's talking about, how black women, need protection and they need this and that. What Brother Salim just got through talking about. But when you look at what she's promoting, you know what I mean, out there.
Yeah, that's that karma coming back on you.
But also, if someone's aiming at a woman, what does she do? See, we can't sugarcoat this thing about the men got to do this. We got to protect the women. Some women don't want your damn protection. And she don't want your damn. Get your weak ass out of my face.
Ben, let me say this.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this.
Yeah.
This is the importance of what was said about. We have to re-educate this woman. Our women have been totally taken out of their nature.
Right.
They are out of many of them, like you say.
Right.
Some of them are bitches.
Right. Exactly.
Even though we like to refrain from using that word.
Right.
And we have to get them to understand that a bitch is not your real nature.
That's right. We have to get these sisters to understand that there's a need for them to be re-educated and recultured to their natural human nature and the way in which Almighty Allah created them. And that's not being done enough. Brother Salim, let me ask you something. Here's a sister right here. She ain't trying to hear what you're going to say. What would you say to her? How would you get her? She said, I ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say. I don't care about no God. I don't care about none of that. Do you got some change? Can you drop this change on me and we can get into something strange? What would you say? What would you say?
I'm leaving her Ben. I'm leaving her alone, Ben, and I'm moving on to the next sister that got an open ear.
Hey, that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. But hey, Minister Ben always come with the comedic side of the game,
And we just have to face the fact that some of our people don't want to wake up, and we have to lead them where they at.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
Hey,
right.
Like
right.
I said, if you got a garden with roses up in it and some weeds starting to come up, what you gonna do? You gonna get rid of the weeds?
You gotta take them out.
You got because if not, it's going to destroy the roses.
It's gonna destroy them.
That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. It's just.
Brother David, you smooth down there, man. We talking about women. You smooth. I mean, come on, man. You got to at least give us at least a 16th of what you got. Come on, man. Come on, David. You're looking good.
You got the slick glasses going over there, you know what I'm saying?
Be shining.
Got Allah on your neck.
Come on, brother. Come on with it, man.
Oh man, brother, I'm just.
See how smooth he is. Oh, brother, it's like that, man. Go ahead on, brother. Go ahead on.
Hey, brother, I'm just trying to, maintain, brother, out here, and progress.
Mm-hmm. See,
you know what? Let me say something. I want to try to put everything in the proper perspective on this woman, and then I'd like to get Mr. James' opinion. Let me just say this here. I'm coming from Brother Malcolm. Mm-hmm. I read in his book, one of his books, I think the name of the book is Remembering Malcolm. And Malcolm is talked about by Brother Benjamin Kareem. And he mentioned how when Malcolm used to go out on the streets of Harlem, he used to ride in that Oldsmobile that you see at Malcolm X College, up down the streets of Harlem. He would ride up, and he would sometimes encounter women on the so-called hoe stroll. And I tell this story often because I try to remind black men that we do have a divinely appointed job by Almighty Allah here on planet Earth. We were designated as God's Khalifa, which means one who is master of self.
Right.
The vicegerent of God upon the earth. It is the duty of the black man to be a leader to the woman, whether he wants to or not. And what I'm saying this all to say is this, that Malcolm used to ride up down the streets of Harlem, and whenever he encountered so-called women out on the hoe stroll, he wouldn't go up to them and call them bitches and hoes. He would call those sisters queens and sit them down on the curb and talk to them and tell them about their great history and where they had come from as queens and princesses. And after Malcolm got finished with many of those sisters, maybe it wasn't all of them, but a great majority of those sisters you will see the next month up in the temples of Islam with the long dress on, having totally reformed their lives from the type of female that they used to be before. And I myself, I've had my own experience right here in Chicago. There's several sisters that I have met that was one way when I met them, but after I got finished with them, after a few months, they were somebody totally different. So we can do it. We just have to put forth an effort, and we're not going to be able to save everybody. We just have to, we're not going to be able to save everybody, whether they are male or female, young or old. Some people just don't want to hear the truth. But my thing is, what I'm saying is that the black man has to put forth an effort and fulfill his God-given role as God's Khalifa down here on this planet.
That's right. Hey, and some of you brothers with that knowledge, don't be trying to exploit these females out here, because some of them be doing that too, you know. We don't need that. Go ahead.
Right. See, the thing is what Brother Salim said. You got to plant the seed. Your seed was you telling the woman who she is.
That's right.
You keep doing that so it can be subliminally in their minds, so they can hear this over and over and over again to give them self-worth.
That's right.
Because a lot of brothers tear women down.
That's right.
They tell the female they just tear them down. But we have to keep telling them, because the white supremacists ain't gonna tell them.
That's right.
They are not gonna tell them nothing. They're gonna tell them they bitches and hoes, this, that, and the other. We have to keep telling them, look, Nubian goddess, queen,
there you go.
You are
the
first teachers of life. Okay? And this is backed up with text.
That's right.
Tons of text has backed this up. So if we implant that in their head, when they're carrying, they can take that message and put it to the unborn.
Yes.
And then
That's
the
right.
unborn takes it and delivers it out.
That's
you
right.
have to do this.
That's right.
And the brothers just don't seem to want to do this. You have to do this. This is very important. You know, this is very
Well
important.
said. Well said.
Yeah.
And real quick, I just want to say something, because I am a father of 3 little girls.
Yes, sir.
I'm
That's
a girl's
Yes,
dad.
sir.
You
That's
understand
right.
what I'm saying? And one of the things I come to the realization is I said that it's the enemy's plot to make every black woman a thought.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, see that? I know. Hey, that's that Ron Kim coming up out here. I know it.
Right. And for those who don't know what a thought is, like, that means, like, it's a derogatory term for a promiscuous woman. It means them hoes over there.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that, I would encourage, like Megan Thee Stallion. You know what I mean? And other, sisters, in her position, man, start depicting and showing black women in a more positive light to these girls. Because, man, I got my little girls, listening and bumping Megan Thee Stallion. You know what I mean? And it come to certain points, I have to tell them to stop watching it. You know what I mean? Because the image and what they promoting, you know what I mean? Man, no, I'm not trying to. No, that's the last thing I could. No, I refuse for my daughters to become, become that. You know what I mean? So, that's one thing. And then, just as men, and again, going back to what we started with the Kufi Club. You know what I mean, man? To try to, as a way to, man, to try to show and model to young black girls on what it is to be a respectable black woman. And that's what I consider my main job is as a father, man, for
Right.
black girls, man.
Because
That's
kids, they emulate what they see. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So if they I see that a lot. That's why I'm like, I know this little girl mama ain't one raised right, because she doing some stuff, and I know she had to learn it from her mama.
Right.
And that's unfortunately, that's it's like a cycle that's going on that we need to break.
Yes.
You know?
And then when you address, some of this hoish behavior, now they duck this whole thing where you slut shaming. What the hell is it?
We got to call it out.
Come on.
It is what it is. It is what it is. You know?
We got to call it out.
Right.
We love our women, but we're gonna stand up and call out this negative behavior that's destroying the image of all of our women.
Right.
That's
You
right.
see, that's what a strong black man would do.
Right, because we fair and balanced. Not like how Fox claimed to be, but we fair and balanced. And that's what, like, we gonna congratulate and encourage you when you're doing good, but when you're doing wrong, we gotta let you know, that ain't right there, You got an image you got to portray for the youngsters. You don't want them to grow up certain type of way. Right. So, it ain't nothing bad. We doing it out of love. When your mama used to whoop you when you was little, say, this is going to hurt me more than it hurt you. Yeah. That's the same, it's a disciplinary thing.
Right.
All right, then, hey, for the first time, I think we did real well, man.
Yeah,
we got a little information out, let the people know what's going on, And I ain't seen y'all brothers in a while because of this pandemic. Y'all looking beautiful,
It's a pleasure.
And it's always good. But with that being said, we finna sign up out of here. And when we sign out, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
Brother
salam,
Tyrone,
sir.
let's close out in Al-Fatiha.
All right. I seek refuge in Allah from the shaitan. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. All praises due to Allah, Lord of all the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, the master of day of judgment. Thee alone do I worship. Thee alone do I seek for help. Guide me in the straight path that bestowed thou grace, not those whom thou brought thy wrath down, and not those whom thou went astray. Ameen.
Ameen.